back to another episode of Watch2Talk. On today's video, I'll be doing a watch review on Omega CK14770. It's when the Pre-Seamaster Deville becomes the original Seamaster Deville. This is the case model. This case model was first introduced in 1960 and lasted to around 1962. CK14770, I would say, is the transitional Seamaster Deville case model. That's because the dial on this watch, some would say Seamaster Deville, and for some would not say Deville below the Seamaster. And if you take a look, both are the same case model. There are many dials variation for this case model, but I would say the most demanding and most collectible and most expensive dial will be the Don Draper dial, which is black dial with the crosshair feature. But the problem with that is, I would say 99% of the time that dial will be a refinished dial. So to find one that is original is extremely rare. Even without the crosshair, it's very, very, very rare. So do watch out for that and make sure that when you're buying a black dial Seamaster Deville, that the dial is the factory original finish and don't get fooled by those redial one. So what makes a Seamaster Deville a Seamaster Deville? Well, on all the Seamaster Deville and pre-deville cases, they are known as the unishell or the monoshell case. So the reason we call that is because the case back cannot be popped open or screw open. So the only way you can get inside to the movement is by separating this crown and also removing the bezel, which is attached with the crystal. And then once that's all taken out, there's a movement holder inside as well. You have to release that in order to tilt the case this way, and the movement will just fall right out, along with the dial, of course. For the case material on this watch, I have seen them mainly in solid stainless steel, like on this watch, and you'll also find the other one, which has should be the gold-filled bezel with the gold capped lugs, and the case back remain solid stainless steel, and they're also available in solid gold. The case dimension for this watch is 34 mm across, excluding the crown, and from the lug top tip to the bottom tip will be 40 mm. And for the thickness of this watch, excluding the crystal, will be 6.4 mm. And if you want to include this crystal, which is actually the original crystal, will be 10.7 mm. The crystal that this watch takes is a plastic dome crystal with a special metal tension ring. And why I say special is because the tension ring has a step inside. And the step you can't see from the top, but underneath you'll be able to see it. And the reason for that step is to take away some of the pressure when you are closing the crystal onto the case. It won't damage the dial, and it also won't give pressure to the date disc. And the other thing is, the original crystal will have a cut all around the crystal. So it's a groove where you can slip the bezel connecting to the crystal. This way, whenever you remove the bezel, it also removes the crystal at the same time. In case you can't find the original crystal for this watch, and you have to replace the crystal because I guess it cracked or something like that, then you can also go with generic crystal. But the only thing to keep in mind is that when you're replacing with the generic crystal, you would have to remove the metal tension ring and replace it with the original stepped metal tension ring from the old crystal. And if the old crystal does not have the stepped ring, then you would have no choice but to find a way and order the original crystal, because without that extra step, it's not really good for your watch. The crown on this watch is a signed crown, and the original crown would look something like this. And the crown dimension is 4.9 mm with a 2.4 mm thickness. And if you need to replace a strap, it takes an 18mm size strap. The case back for this watch will have the Seamaster logo that's raised, and below that logo will say waterproof. And if you turn it over, the case model is inside. And just take a look. The case back is part of the case. The movement that this case model takes is an automatic center second with date feature. Omega made two different caliber for this case model. They are 560 with 17 jewel or caliber 562 with 24 jewels. And both of these caliber do not have the quick set date feature. And when it comes to buying this case model, you do have to make sure that you get a picture of the movement, because you do want to make sure that the case clamp and the case clamp screw are both on the movement. And there are two, one on each side. The next interesting part about this case model is that it comes with a two-piece stem. So as you can see, there's the male stem, which is connected to the movement, and there's the female stem, which is connected to the crown. And they are both connected when the watch is complete. And if you need to remove the movement, the first thing you'll need is to separate the two stems. Once you separate the two stems, you will have to take a knife and pop the bezel. Once you pop the bezel will at the same time remove the crystal. And now that I removed the crystal, I can show you guys how the step looks like inside the crystal. So the step metal tension ring is right here. This is the bezel, this is the metal tension ring for the crystal. So once you're done with that, you will leave yourself with the movement. Just assume that the movement is right here. The movement and the movement holder. And so in order to tilt and remove the movement, you would have to unlock this first. Unlock is by sliding this movement holder upward. Then this two area here will become open, and this two area is where the case clamp are on the movement. So now they are free. You are able to tilt the case and the movement will fall right out. Here's something bonus for you guys. In case by accident you pull the crown to set the time using too much force, you may separate the two-piece stems. And if that's the case, it's very easy to connect them back. All you have to do is put the crown back into the case tube like this, and then slowly turn. And at one point you will feel that there's a connection. And from there, all you have to do is apply a bit of pressure and press. And that's how they are both connected again. That's the end of this video. I hope it was educational. If you have a question or a comment, please leave them in the comment section below. And my website and Instagram link are also below this video. Please not forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.